This is KVUE News Daybreak.
Good Friday morning to you, and thank you so much for joining us for KVUE News Daybreak. Time now is 4:30. I'm Brian Mays. Let's begin this Friday morning with a look at what we're tracking for this Memorial Day weekend. Erica Lopez joins us now with the forecast. Erica?
Hey there, Brian. Good morning. Well, some warm and muggy conditions is what we're tracking. The humidity kicks off today. We're talking dangerous heat index values. You're really going to notice it as you head out the door this morning. Temperatures in the upper 70s this morning, 77 for Camp Mabry, and check out the dew points in the 70s also. A south wind is to blame for increasing our humidity levels. These are the current temperatures we're seeing right now as you head out the door. Lots of 70s for the hill country, also upper 70s across the viewing area for our central counties. That's the same story for our eastern counties also. So something we're going to talk about a lot the next 48 hours are going to be our heat index. So that's the feel like temperature as you head out the door, because you factor in temperatures in the mid 90s, which is your forecasted high today with all the humidity that's out there. We're going to have feel like temperatures in the triple digits, not only for today, but also as we fast forward into Sunday. We'll get a little break as we're tracking rain shower chances Sunday into Monday. But again, today is the day you want to stay cool, stay hydrated, protect yourself from the sun, and also try to limit your time outside. It's going to be a little bit on the dangerous side in terms of humidity levels. Brian, back to you.
Erica, thank you. After spending nearly 3 years in prison, a former Leander High School football star's child sexual assault conviction could be overturned. 22-year-old Greg Kelly serving a 25-year prison sentence near Huntsville. A Williamson County jury convicted him back in 2014 after a 4-year-old boy accused Kelly of molesting him. But a new revelation begins to possibly pave the way for Kelly to be released from prison. The new suspect, named in new court documents unsealed yesterday afternoon, was Greg Kelly's friend and football teammate Jonathan McCarty. That's his mugshot. Court documents prepared by Kelly's defense say McCarty told someone at a party after Kelly's conviction that he, in fact, was the one who molested the child, not Kelly. Now, a newly unsealed court document says that cell phone technology shows Greg Kelly was not living in the house with Jonathan McCarty, whose mother operated the in-home daycare center at the time of the crime. It also says that McCarty had images of naked young children on his computer and phone. McCarty is currently in jail on unrelated drug charges. Now, he has not been arrested or charged in the sexual assault case involving Kelly. A Williamson County judge has set a hearing for Kelly the first week of August. She'll decide then whether Kelly could be released from prison on bond. This morning, Jared Kushner, President Donald Trump's son-in-law and senior White House advisor, is among a number of White House staffers who are likely to be interviewed by the FBI because of their interactions with former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, or because they had contact with Russian officials during the 2016 presidential campaign. ABC's Lana Zach explains how Kushner's attorneys are responding to the investigation.
As President Trump's son-in-law and senior advisor, Jared Kushner has been by the president's side. And now sources tell ABC News Kushner is among a number of White House staffers and former Trump campaign officials who are likely to be interviewed by the FBI in connection with the Russia investigation, though he's not a target and has not been accused of committing a crime. Kushner's lawyer said the first son-in-law would cooperate, writing in a statement, Mr. Kushner previously volunteered to share with Congress what he knows about these meetings. He will do the same if he's contacted in connection with any other inquiry. Of particular interest to investigators is a transition meeting with Russian Ambassador Kislyak and a separate meeting with a Russian financial executive. Meanwhile, the first international tour for President Trump continues in Europe today, after a couple of less than diplomatic moments made international headlines.
23 of the 28 member nations are still not paying what they should be paying and what they are supposed to be paying for their defense. This is not fair to the people and taxpayers of the United States.
The president lecturing NATO members while they looked on stone-faced and appearing to push aside the Prime Minister of Montenegro to get in front for a photo op.
And while the president publicly scolded those European leaders for their payments, what he didn't say may be even more concerning to the members of NATO, not reinforcing the mutual defense pledge. Lana Zach, ABC News, Washington.
President Donald Trump's revised travel ban could head to the Supreme Court after a federal appeals court voted not to reinstate it. The Fourth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Virginia ruled 10-3 against the president's executive order, which temporarily restricted travel and blocked new visas for 6 Muslim-majority countries. The court says the order vaguely touches on national security and promotes religious discrimination. The Texas legislature could finalize the state's budget by this weekend. Yesterday, the House and Senate reached an agreement on the budget for the next 2 years at nearly $108 billion. If passed, it would increase funding to Child Protective Services by more than $500 million, adding nearly 600 new caseworkers. Other items include $800 million for border security and $4.2 million to eliminate the current rape kit backlog. Both the House and Senate expected to hold a final vote tomorrow. Happening today, Governor Greg Abbott expected to sign a bill that could make getting a license to carry a handgun in Texas a whole lot cheaper. Senate Bill 16 would cut the fee for a license to carry a firearm from $140 to $40, and the renewal fee would drop from $70 to $40. A nonpartisan budget board has already said if that happens, Texas would lose about $55 million in just 2 years. Starting next week, Uber and Lyft drivers will be hitting the streets of Austin once again. The ride-sharing companies returning after lawmakers passed a bill overriding local regulations for ride-sharing companies. Both Uber and Lyft stopped operating in Austin last May after a vote on Proposition 1 that required drivers in Austin to undergo fingerprint background checks. Voters chose to keep the strict regulations on the industry enacted by Austin City Council, but now the state legislatures passed a statewide rule that are more favorable. Those rules more favorable to the companies, which will override Austin's rules.
I think everyone in Austin benefits when we have good competition. That's just a win for all of us that live here. And
we know we have a lot of work to do to rebuild trust with the community and to re-engage and to make sure, that we are a Austin company and an Austin brand.
Both Uber and Lyft plan to launch operations in the city starting on Monday. 4:37 now. Austin police need your help this morning finding a driver involved in a hit and run in the downtown area. Officers say it happened May 16th on East 6th Street. And they say a driver hit a pedestrian and took off. The victim doing okay this morning. The driver was behind the wheel of a white or silver sedan which possibly had an out-of-state license plate number PN1B0D. If you have any information, call police. Britain increasing security as officials remain on high alert after Monday night's suicide bombing in Manchester. The attack left 22 people dead, dozens more injured. ABC's Molly Hunter explains what investigators are now saying about the attacker and what else police are doing to protect families in the UK.
New images. Here he is, Salman Abedi, taking out the garbage, wearing a traditional North African robe and sandals. And these haunting images from a security camera at a shopping mall just 3 days before the attack. Baseball cap pulled down, apparently carrying the same backpack he used in the bombing. He spent his final night here in a rented apartment just 2 miles from the arena, phoning his mother in Libya to say forgive me. And he'd apparently just returned from Libya. ABC News has learned Salman Abedi crisscrossed Europe on his way back home last week. Flying to Manchester, he flew through Istanbul and Dusseldorf undetected. And here, British police hunting for accomplices, a network of terrorists and a bomb maker on the loose. And here in Manchester, as victims recover in the hospital, a surprise visitor yesterday.
It's very interesting how everybody has united, haven't they, here?
Now, earlier this week, the UK was furious with the U.S. for leaking photos to the U.S. press. They even stopped sharing intelligence about this incident with their U.S. counterparts. But we now hear that relationship is back in order and that flow of information has been reinstated. In Manchester, Molly Hunter, ABC News.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, is predicting an above-average hurricane season this year. They released the annual Atlantic Hurricane Season Outlook this week. According to their predictions, there's a 70% chance of 11 to 17 named storms, 5 to 9 hurricanes, and 2 to 4 major hurricanes. An average season produces about a dozen named storms, 6 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. Hurricane season begins June 1st, runs through November the 30th. Speaking of weather, let's get a check now on our local forecast with Erica. Erica, some heat today, man. Woo.
Yeah, that's right. We're talking above average temperatures and also extreme humidity. You're going to really feel it as you head out the door this morning. Dew points in the 70s. And so that's going to give you heat index values that will be on the dangerous side this afternoon. As you head out the door, temperatures are in the 70s, and since dew points are in the 70s as well, that means our atmosphere is extremely sticky. Your forecasted highs, this is what we're talking about, near 100 for the hill country, in the mid-90s for central and eastern counties. It's going to be a warm one just temperature-wise, but factor in the humidity with the temperatures. We're talking dangerous heat index values not only for today, but also into tomorrow. We're talking triple-digit feel-like temperatures, and the good news is that it's only going to last a couple of days. As we head into the second half of the holiday weekend and Memorial weekend, we're talking rain shower activity. That's going to alleviate us from the humidity levels, but notice we're already in a slight risk for severe weather here Sunday night into Monday. So rain shower chances after the heat. A busy forecast in terms of the next 7 days, whether it's regarding dangerous heat or rain shower chances. So we're going to keep you guys updated. You can stay updated this weekend by downloading the KVUE weather app, or excuse me, the KVUE app. You can look at the current weather conditions there and also keep up to date with your 7-day forecasts. Brian, back to you.
Erica, thank you. Police across several central Texas cities, including Austin and San Marcos, continuing their efforts to keep drunk drivers off the roadway. Starting today, officers will be on the lookout for drunk drivers, part of the department's No Refusal initiative. During no refusal periods, officers can get a warrant to draw a blood sample from any suspected drunk driver who refuses a breath test. No Refusal runs today through June 12th from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. And we here at KVUE want to remind you of our initiative, Drive Alive Austin. Head to our website, KVUE.com, for resources to help you find a safe ride home. Still ahead, highway horror, the end to a family's nightmare, an RV burning in Arlington after a police chase. We talked about this yesterday morning, and today we'll hear from the officer who rescued the children involved. And remember the girl who was jerked into the water by a seal? You saw the video. Well, her parents want you to know it's no laughing matter. The disease she now has from that incident. That's coming up.